Hello, I'm John Peyton Anto, and tonight I will be doing a video presentation over training for abrasive wheel grinders. And throughout this video you'll see like a difference in different styles, and then we'll kind of show you the do's and don'ts of how to operate an abrasive wheel grinder and look at some of the safety hazards that can become an issue while running this type of a machine. We'll also talk about the kind of PPE that the operator might need to have on, or not might need to, it should be mandatory most places that have a good safety program put in place. But for this general instance, we're just going to kind of show you, like on a new machine, things like you should be seeing, such as guards, and what to look for on a good machine and what to look for on a bad machine. We'll just kind of show you some techniques and do's and don'ts with these types of machines. But first, we'll just pretty much go over the PPE just general PPE that workers should have on while using these types of machines. And for starters, you should have like a pretty high top boot, just a closed-toed boot that is more than likely a steel toe or something of that sort, so your feet are protected just in case something falls on your feet or anything of that nature. And you want to have long pants on, and a lot of times you'll want flame retardant type clothing, but I'm just kind of on a budget since it's during the coronavirus going on right now. So I've just got an old Army BDU top that I used to deer hunt in, but it's a lot better protection than a lot of places because of how thick the material is. But on an actual job site, you'll have a flame retardant type clothing that's going to help repel like flammable hazards or anything of that nature. But you'll want a pretty tight fitting long sleeve shirt with some long sleeve pants, and you'll need some boots to protect your feet as well. And some type of a leather glove would work as well to protect your hands. And for me personally, the mechanics gloves offer the best motion, and it has the most ergonomic comfort out of any other leather gloves on the market. So for my choice, that would be the mechanics gloves. I mean, that's just kind of my preference, and I'm most comfortable using them. So you'll want a good pair of leather gloves. You'll want some type of Z87 approved goggle, like these were produced by 3M. And you'll see up here, it's, I don't know with camera quality, but it'll say Z87 plus. Anything Z87 or above, according to ANSI standards, is acceptable for people in the occupation of welding, cutting, anything of that nature. That's just kind of sort of standard for people to be wearing PPE wise or personal protective equipment wise. So anything Z87 and up, you're good. So you want to be sure to protect your eyes, because I mean, you can walk on a fake leg but you can't see with a glass eye. So but anyways, yeah, just anything Z87 or up. And then for grinding for long periods, especially if you're going for an 8-hour shift or more throughout a day, the sheer noise from these machines, whether it be a bench grinder or a tabletop grinder, will probably more than likely be over 85 decibels. So just some simple earplugs will probably suffice for that sort of hearing protection, because you don't want to have ringing in the ears and get tinnitus or damage any of the cochlea inside the ears, or you just want to keep your ears in good shape. And then the industrial hygienist will also be happy with you because you're complying with the over 85 decibels rule, as far as if you were going to take a dosimeter out there and check the decibels and everything of that nature. But I'm going to go ahead and put some PPE on, just kind of show a general rule. Like for these types of earplugs, I just kind of squish them up, and then I'll come over here with my off hand and grab the top of my ear and insert it into the ear canal, and then just kind of wiggle your ear, and it'll help let that earplug expand inside the ear, so it'll block off the sound. Excuse me, I burped. And then I'll have my eye protection ready, but we're not operating right now. Okay, then we'll just go ahead and put our leather gloves on too. Okay, first, we'll kind of, before we get in here to operating these machines, we'll just kind of go through and show you some, you know, like on an older machines, just wear and tear and maintenance, making sure your equipment's in proper working order. We'll just kind of go through and show you like what to look for on a bad machine, but if you've got a new machine, we'll show you like what is acceptable for work and that sort of thing. But first we'll show you the bad example. And this one, if you see here, it's got electrical tape covering up a lot of the cord. It's got wires trying to break through the rubberized coating on the outside, and that's just, a lot of it's probably just weather cracking from age and deterioration over time. And that coating and everything is just flaking up, and that could cause a short, and these prongs are a little bit bent. There's not a safeguard on this machine, so if this wheel were to break up, it wouldn't catch a guard before it hit you, and it could cause facial injuries, or, you know, your jugulars are right there, so I mean, it could hit that just as easy as your face if it's a high-speed flying object. So you want to be sure it's got a guard on it. And there's not a handle on this machine, so there's no guard, no handle, and the cord's bad, so probably shouldn't be fit for duty with this type of machine. So we'll just kind of wrap this one up, and this is just for training purposes. I wouldn't actually use this to perform work. But with a new machine, as you can see, with this cord, it's a brand new cord, and you always want to make sure your cords are clean of debris, and just a damp cloth is good, or even just your hand in some cases, just to get the excess debris or dirt or even grass and static will even accumulate on these cords. So just your hand or a damp cloth just to clean these cords off. And for this particular model, it's a skill, and the cord on it is in brand new shape. I mean, just got it out of the box, so it's not deteriorating, it's in good shape. The prongs on the plug-in are not bent, they don't have any charring on them or anything, so we know everything's good electrical wise. And it's got a brand spanking new blade on it, or a cutoff disc. However you want to, whichever purpose you're going to use the machine for, you can put different blades up here for grinding or for cutting, but this particular one's for grinding right now. But right here, it's got a little functioning guard, and it's got a little quick release mount right here. We'll get a little close up. With this mount, it just pops open like so. You can adjust this guard to however you want to cut or grind, or however you want to use the machine. You can adjust the ergonomics of the safety guard that's installed on this device. So basically you can set it up for however the user might use it. So, you know, if you're just wanting to change your grip from left to right hand, it's threaded. So all you got to do is just unthread it, and it's got attachments on the right, top, and the left. So you can basically set this machine up for however the operator wants to use it. But since I'm a lefty, I'm going to just put this handle back in here in the left hand position. And then for any time you use an abrasive wheel grinder or anything of that sort, this particular model, and I'm sure it wouldn't be up to OSHA standards, but I've seen a lot of times on job sites, on these cords, there's a key to tighten these blades up, or the abrasive wheels or anything like that. So there's a key that's normally duct taped to the cord, and that could cause a slip, trip, fall hazard or anything of that nature. And plus, they're always looking for their key to tighten their wheel up. Well, this particular model it's got the tool to tighten your cutoff wheel or your grinding disc up, and it just stays in the handle, so you never lose it. But without further ado, is that 10 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
We'll do a little bit of grinding here. Now I've just got a piece of flat steel right here. Make sure it's plugged in. Okay, be sure you got your eye protection on. Safety guards in place. I've got all my PPE on. And we're just going to kind of follow this edge right here. You want to keep the machine out in front of you and have a good stance, good posture. You want to keep your back straight and just kind of act like, you know, if somebody's going to punch at you, you might throw a punch back. You want to have a good, not really aggressive, but you want to be in with the machine so you've got complete control over the machine. So with just a little bit of time at all, we can smooth this edge back off ground to a smooth surface. I mean, with just very little time, as long as you're using your machine correctly. But whenever you're done, just be sure it's, you know, it's turned off and unplug it. Walk out, tag out every time. That way, you know, if somebody's walking through on the job site, bump it with their foot or whatever the case is, nothing's going to happen and you won't have an injury as a result, as long as you unplug your machine and lock and tag it out. And lastly, we're just going to kind of go through, and I'll just use my same sheet of metal that I used for demonstration earlier. And anytime when you're working too, you want to try and utilize a vise to keep whatever you're working on stable so it's not moving. You want to be sure you're stable, so as long as whatever you're working on still and you're being pretty sturdy, you won't have any hiccups or anything. So we'll use this bench grinder a little bit. Now right here, they call these nip points, and this machine, it's not necessarily up to par, but I'm kind of a poor chicken, so as long as you're pretty competent and safe about it and you kind of see what you're doing. Huh?
13 minutes.
Okay. But just turn the machine on, stay clear of your nip point, and just be sure you have a firm grip on the piece of metal. Just start right up there at the top. I just hope at the end of this presentation, since we're done working, I'll take my PPE off. But I just kind of hope whoever sees this video kind of gains a general knowledge of what to see, like whenever you're working with wheeled abrasive equipment, such as a bench grinder or a handheld grinder. I just want everybody to be safe and just kind of have a general common sense what they're coming in contact with when they come around these sorts of pieces of equipment. So. Anyhow, I appreciate it, y'all, and stay safe.